Apple's biggest iPhone SE redesign is coming in just a couple of months, and based on the latest leaks and rumors, it's gonna be the best budget iPhone ever, with exclusive features that you can't even get on the new iPhone 16 being so good that a massive amount of people will switch from their Android phones. So let's get started with the top 10 major changes. For change number 1, the iPhone SE4 has been confirmed by Mark Gurman to be the first iPhone ever with Apple's own in-house 5G modem, which will apparently have the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chips built into one chip alongside the modem. Now, this of course is going to replace Qualcomm's modem, which is the best in the business, but there are a number of advantages with Apple's own unique modem. Like, for one, it's going to be more secure than ever before, but the big difference is that it's going to be massively more efficient, seeing as Apple is using cutting-edge transistor technology, and it's going to be their own in-house modem specifically designed and tuned for their own products. And that's actually why Apple's chips are the best in the world, because they're specifically built and tuned to match not only the hardware that they go into, but to match the software perfectly, since Apple makes all of that themselves in-house for each other. With that said, we could realistically see the power usage of the modem drop by 50% compared to the collective amount of power that the current cellular modem, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth chips use, since Apple's gonna put it all in one chip. And now getting into the second major change, the new iPhone SE4 is of course gonna switch over to the USB-C port, finally ditching Lightning. That is an absolute massive deal because I've been using the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the new 16 Pro Max with USB-C, and I've got to say that it's been one of my favorite features because you can plug in so many different accessories, docks, hubs, everything is supported, including SSDs. It's just been such an amazing port, and seeing that Apple's gonna add it to the iPhone SE makes it so much more handy. For change number 3, the new iPhone SE4 is of course going to have a brand new design. And a few months ago, we had leaked schematics and CAD files showing the design changes, and let me tell you, it looks absolutely beautiful, so much better than the current iPhone SE, which is just so ugly, especially from the front, because you have that square display that looks ugly, you have the home button, massive bezels, and just area on the front that's not being used. And especially since we're also expecting the flat-sided redesign, which looks really nice and amazing, this is gonna be a huge deal. It's gonna make it look so much more different and modern. Now getting into change number 4, the iPhone SE4 is finally, after so many years, adopting Face ID. That's one of the most convenient features, especially since you can use it to pay, you can unlock apps, you can lock your notes and unlock them with your face, and so much more. This is such a big deal, and just making it overall easier to use, and it improves your quality of life. So Face ID is gonna be amazing. Now for change number 5, we of course have the A18 chip. Yes, the same chip that we have in the iPhone 16 is apparently going into the budget iPhone SE4, which is a big deal because people thought you would get an older chip, but it's getting the A18. And the cool thing is that the A18 is almost identical to the A18 Pro in the Pro and Pro Max models, other than just having one less GPU core and some other small differences. So it's gonna be a big deal because compared to the previous iPhone SE with the A15 chip, the A18 is 41% faster in single core, which is gonna help with everything from web browsing and basically everything you do on your phone, making it feel so much more snappy. And then in terms of multi-core performance, it's 39% faster, which will help with productivity apps, gaming, and more. And then in terms of graphics performance, it's 37% faster, which of course will also help for gaming and other apps as well. Now getting into change number 6, the iPhone SE4 is finally getting a massive camera upgrade with the 48 megapixel sensor from the iPhone 15, which is a really big deal because the previous iPhone SE had a 12 megapixel sensor from the iPhone 8. Yes, it has really, really old technology with the old versions of Smart HDR HDR. And with the new 48 megapixel sensor, you of course get 48 megapixel resolution mode for super crispy and sharp photos. Not only that, but you're gonna get the standard 24 megapixel upgraded photo capture, which is dramatically more detailed than the previous pixel binned 12 megapixel mode, and you also get true 2x sensor crop mode for much higher detail 2x shots compared to simply digitally zooming 2 times. Now for change number 7, the new iPhone SE 4 is getting a bigger 6.1 inch edge-to-edge beautiful display from the iPhone 14 versus the current SE, which has a super old and small 4.7 inch display, which is square with all those bezels. It's ugly. Plus, not only that, but the display technology is so much better. We're getting an OLED display compared to the previous LCD, which was super dim. It's essentially gonna be a massive improvement in display feel, look, immersivity, and quality as well. I think that's gonna be such a big deal, especially if we're trying to get Android users to switch over to iPhone. And now for change number 8, the iPhone SE 4 is also getting a huge selfie camera upgrade because the previous SE had a 7 megapixel sensor, which the quality was just terrible. Now we're getting the 12 megapixel sensor from the iPhone 15, so selfie shots are gonna be much improved on the new iPhone SE 4, basically matching what you can get on the new 16 Pro Max. So that is gonna be a really, really big deal. Now moving on to change number 9, of course, the new iPhone SE 4 supports Apple Intelligence since it's packing an A18 chip, and that right there is gonna be so important because by the time it comes out in spring of 2025, the hype for Apple Intelligence I think is gonna be big with a lot of the features now out by that time. And the fact that you get 8 gigs of RAM for the on-device AI, it's just gonna make it so important for people knowing that the new iPhone SE 4 has all of those features built in. And finally, for change number 10, we of course have the price and the value, which is just immense with the new design, with a price that's lower than the iPhone 16. Now, the current one is $499, the current SE, but I think Apple's gonna raise the price to $599 because of the extra RAM and the A18 chip and the new design with Apple Intelligence. All of that justifies a $100 price increase, and I think it's gonna be such a killer value for $600. Now, of course, there are a couple of downsides, like for example, you still have the notch, which is quite ugly. You still have a single camera, which is not that big of a deal since not everybody uses ultra wide, and you also have the 2x crop mode with the 48 megapixel sensor, so that helps. You also don't get the camera control button or the action button, but honestly, those features don't really matter that much, especially if you're someone looking for a budget phone or someone that's switching from Android. Those two buttons aren't really a big deal. But I think that the fact that you get an iPhone that holds its value with the very reliable iOS software, the massive app store, all of those new modern features, Apple's new modem, industry-leading performance, and Apple Intelligence support, all for likely $600, means that a ton of people are about to start switching over from their budget Android phones more than there ever has been before. And especially when all of the Apple Intelligence features start going viral on TikTok, that is when it's gonna get real for the iPhone SE 4. So hopefully you enjoyed this video on the top 10 changes for this new iPhone SE model. And if you enjoyed it, go ahead and comment down below and subscribe above for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.